All right, so let's try this again. Take two. Take two. So I'm going to do a lot more testing later. I basically re-added the Comcast line, so I think I actually am running off the Comcast now. I'll figure out what's going on. Maybe I'm not getting a good signal on the wireless. It says I get an excellent signal on the T-Mobile, but let's get back to my discussion. And I'll probably delete the other video because it's probably a hot mess. So, just want to give my personal opinion because I used to be a firm believer of this myself. But when it comes to the Max and the M1s, not the Air, it's not the same. When you're talking Intel Max compared to the M1 Max, it's a different way of thinking about them. Do I understand them? Hell no. Do I know that I would rather use my M1 Mac Mini or my M1 MacBook Pro 13-inch, both base model, over my two Intel 32 gig i7s. One of them's a 9700K, the other one's like a 10th gen. I don't even know. That one's actually got a graphics card and everything, but it's heavy. The power brick alone is heavier than the MacBook Pro. And what I'm talking about is I read this comment, and I'm not trying to diss anyone. When I see something like this, I want to kind of give my input and hopefully help you guys kind of think twice. So there's two things about this that I want to discuss. One of them is that more rather than less. Normally, yes. Normally, I would agree with you. When it comes to the M1s, it depends on a few other factors. And they made another comment here, which to me is one of those factors. You want to have it for a long time. I think that mentality is what needs to change because technology is constantly changing. Technology is constantly evolving. So to say you want to keep a computer and what is long time? To me, long time is like, let's say 10 years. You know, you want to keep a computer for 10 years rather than replace it every 4 to 5 years because the cost of the computer. I understand that. But if you want to keep up, especially if this is your work, if this is your business, I'm in corporate IT. Most companies, at least big ones, it's like every 2 to 3 years, brand new computers. Why? They need to stay up to date. Some smaller companies, nonprofits, they might go 5, maybe even 10. It's not the best thing when it's a business. Personal, I understand. Me, I like to keep computers as long as possible, as long as they're supported. If I have a computer that can no longer be supported, then that's a different story. I'm gonna do something else with it. And Facebook, you're on crap today. You just ended my video again, but according to Ecamm, everything is fine. What is going on Facebook? Really? I'm just gonna keep going because I'm gonna assume this is still working, and if not, I could upload the video. So back to kind of what I'm saying. Still working, and if not, I could upload. And now Facebook is working. I don't know. So if, for example, you did not really have the income or the money, don't spend $2, $4, $6,000 on a Mac because you think you need 32 gigs of 64 gigs of RAM, and that this thing's going to last you 10 years. You could spend $4,000 on a computer and it could die on you within a year. Don't think that way, please. Think that if this computer lasts me 2 to 4 years, I'm lucky. So what is the most you're willing to pay for a 2 to 4 year computer? Let's say 4 to 5 years. What's the most you want to pay for a computer that you are already going to plan to replace in 4 to 5 years? Have that mindset. Two, what are you doing that's that great that you think you need this much power? When you're dealing with an M1 Mac, not the Air, these things are crazy powerful. The way they communicate, the way they integrate or whatever, they're just crazy fast, crazy. They could do so much. I have a Mac Mini M1 base model. I have a MacBook Pro 13-inch base model. What would be the max for me? The most powerful that I should even consider? That would probably be the 14-inch MacBook Pro because it comes with 16 gigs as the base. As far as I am concerned at this point in time, I am no expert. I do work with computers, not Macs. I do work with hardware and specs and all this stuff. I built my desktop. That doesn't say much. I understand that. This is my opinion. Nobody, unless you are doing some real crazy high-end stuff, nobody needs more than 16 gigs on an M1, not the Air. No one. If you're doing 32, 64, if you're spending 4 to 6 grand or whatever on an M1, I mean, you must be doing all this, Photoshop, video editing, all this, which people have been doing with the 16 gig max. So again, have more of the mindset 4 to 5 years because technology is always changing. Applications are always changing. We had one employee, we had to replace his laptop because it no longer would even run. I think it was Adobe Photoshop. I mean, you can't keep these computers forever. There is no way. Limit the amount of time you expect the computer to last you. Spec it out for that amount of time. And know what you're dealing with. It's not an Intel. It's an M1. Literally, I mean, I'm using my 8 gig Mac for almost everything and not my 32 gig of RAM i7s. I'm just saying. So hopefully this video was not as bad as the last one. I'm probably going to go ahead and delete the last one. And yeah, Facebook, I don't know what's going on with you. It's getting a little aggravating at this point because I'm not even doing anything that special and you're dropping. All right, that's going to be it for this one. I probably will repurpose this and maybe I should remove the parts where I'm disrespecting Facebook because I'm not looking for a lawsuit. Laters.